with a struggling learner, do you see that as a greater issue than the adding to, taking from? I just feel like that's a piece that they need to build.
Yes.
So I think I'd start with putting together, taking apart
Yes.
for a day with unknowns in all 3 locations. I could see doing adding to, taking from for a day with
Yes.
unknowns in all 3 locations at the middle school, high school level. I could see doing additive comparison, and then that day doing multi-steps that include all of those
I'm
with additive
picturing all of
comparison.
this, like that first week of school, you could do activities to get the students, working together and, you know, like these problems will be so non-judgmental, non-threatening,
Yeah.
that it would be a great way to provide a
Okay.
classroom culture and setting. And then it would be nice though if you would be able to take these and identify them when you're starting the pre-algebra process. Like, oh, remember when we did that,
Yeah.
like the first day?
I love the anchor problem idea.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know where to start with something like this. This is so, I mean, I'm a high school teacher, I teach calculus.
Yeah.
So to
These-
go back to these basic things are
Well,
very difficult.
and these problems would not be where I would start.
Right.
Okay, absolutely not. The yellow problems would be where I would
Yellow
start.
problems, okay.
Well, I'll give you both, I'll send you both.
Thank
I'll
you.
send you both sets.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
remind me if I forget everything else that I've sent. It'll come up with a list.
Oh, we'll remember.
Okay, I know. People never forget. When I say I'll send them, they always remind me. That's good, because I don't remember. I drive off in the car and it goes. So, it just happens. I'm terrible that way. I think I would do, probably, you could do 3 days just on the additive subtractive structures, and then start doing multi-steps with just the additive subtractive. Where you've got something like, I collected, 6 more seashells than she did, and we collected 15 seashells altogether. How many seashells did each of us collect? That kind of thing. Where that's 2-step, but they have to see it that way. How do I make a visual? How do they do it with color tiles? I would do it with color tiles or counters first, because that's where they're at. They need that
But
tactile.
do you even have that access to those kinds of?
Counters.
Manipulative and stuff.
We have manipulatives, but I don't have much experience at all in this. I mean, and I know that's what the problem is, and here we're forcing them on the
Yeah.
stuff that they just, I mean, they can do the procedure, but there's no concept.
And if we do it with lower numbers, you can give each kid or each pair 20 counters, and just start it with the lower numbers where they're working within 20 with their buddy. And then the next day, you can give each, pair 40 or whatever, work with what, greater numbers to get at the multiplication and division or what. But I would start it with lower numbers that they can build it, and then make the diagrams from what they've built. And then they won't use the manipulatives after that, because once they get to the diagram level, they don't need the manipulatives. But I think I'd start with lower numbers that they can build, and just say, I'm just teaching you some ideas. I know the problem seems easy, we're gonna analyze it. That's the key piece, is that we're gonna really tear it apart and think deeply about it. The other thing that I would say is that the area I would do before I would do equal groups, because they need that visual of rows and columns, and then go into equal groups, and then do multiplication. So I would do them in that order, and I think I would do a day on each.
Can we write on this? Can we write anything on there?
Yeah.
Can
You
you
can pick
just
up a
put the
marker,
order
the
real
tools
quick
are
for
up.
me again, because I'm fascinated by it.
Sure. So I would do this, day 1, they take a picture.
Yeah, okay, good.
This,
Need a
day 2.
snapshot. She's
Yes.
gonna take a picture
Take a
for me,
picture of
yeah.
this for us, will you?
Those are all separate.
So I would do comparing and then, fold in the other ones kind of as a review.
Mhm.
And then I would probably do and this one I'd make sure to get all at the 2 different types of division. Because, there's the dealing out and then there's the measuring out. So the 2 types of division. I've even done it where I've given them a division equation and then said, write me a story problem that's partitive, and write me a story problem that's measurement, so that they can.
And that is not an easy task.
Can you write that partitive and measure? Right there.
Partitive and measure.
Partitive and measure.
ever seen those triangle, this reminds me, I just saw these triangle diagrams that they're using in other countries for addition and subtraction, multiplication.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
talking about?
Magic triangles.
Multiplication and division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's magic
Is it similar
triangles.
or not?
It's,
I don't like the magic triangles in a lot of ways because I feel like the kids don't
No,
connect
it's just the
it.
number of facts, I mean.
Yeah,
yeah,
it
it
talking
does
about.
it's
demonstrate-
procedural.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think it's a bad thing, cause it
Mhm.
helps them with their recall and their memorization.
Our science teachers use that and it's very,
But it should come after they have the
Yeah.
concept.
Okay.
I would, honestly, fourth grade, I keep telling them, you need color tiles, cause you need to do area models and do factors and multiples. So the factors are the dimensions of the sides, the multiple is the area. Connect prime and composite that way. If I give you 7, how many rectangles can you make? You can only make 1 rectangle. It's either vertical or horizontal, it's still a 1x7 rectangle.
Now-
Just getting at that through area models.
I feel like I need more training on this than what we're getting now. Is there any webinars or anything available on this?
Not yet, but I suppose I
Okay.
should whip something out, huh?
That's pretty important. It's pretty important concepts.
Yeah.
These are very important
Yes.
concepts. And this initially, I'm sorry for throwing my 2 cents worth in, but this is so important to me. This work initially was done at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and where they looked at hundreds of kids, mostly first grade kids, and just let them solve the problems using the method of their choice. And it became clear, a sort of a learning trajectory, exactly as you've identified it here, of how that knowledge evolves. So I am just thrilled to see that sort of component underscores the Common Core, yes.
I mean, I think, one of the questions you guys asked is who developed the Common Core? The 3 lead writers, all of that, the folks who wrote it are on the Achieve website and on the Park website, on the Common Core website. But the research base behind it some of it is in the
Yes.
back of those standards, but they don't reference the modes of representation. That's one of my, it annoys me because it's so big, and that they don't even say Lesh, Post, and Bear's research
And Bayer, of course, was at NIU for a number of years, yes.
So I don't know why they don't, because I think that's big. But I also think, I think that some of this is like Doug Clements is probably one of the lead research on early,
Geometry.
and his research, the learning trajectories research is what underpins some of this. Some of it comes from other countries, but some of it comes from other states. And a lot of research that was the foundation for this, other countries used, we ignored. We go to them and say, what are you doing? Oh, well, we used your research. Don't we feel like idiots that we have the research done in our country and we don't pay attention to it to design our curriculum? That happened a lot. Singapore, almost all of their program is based off of research done in our country that we totally ignored. The visual models started here. We just never used it. Asha Jitendra is like big on visual models and problem solving. A lot of, you probably don't know visual researchers, because you know more of the researchers than I do, but.
Well, that's my area. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
neither here nor there, but I am just happy to see that this is not, that the Common Core standards have an underpinning that is not willy-nilly. That
Right.
truly is based on, we have done some work on how people learn here, and we're gonna apply it in.
It has nothing to do with the Gates Foundation. The Gates Foundation did not
Correct.
make the standard.
Correct.
They just pour a lot of money and we'll take it. It's not the Gates Foundation. They're not taking over the country. Pearson.
Pearson is.
Pearson does have more money than God, but,
That's great.
So
More
that's
money
what
than
I was
God.
gonna
I
wrap
hear
up
that.
with these problem-solving structures. I hope I've answered your questions. I'm sure you have more now.
Really, really awesome. And we do have more questions, but I feel like it's time, we're after noon here, and we may be,
You're
you
probably
may be
starving.
hungry.
And I've got to zip back because I have a meeting this
Yeah,
afternoon.
You're headed to Springfield, is that right?
Monday.
Monday,
Monday.
okay.
So, but I gotta get back to the office and finish packing up my car. I have my
Thank
media
you.
center I have to empty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.